Campfire Classics is a classic literature podcast. However, your hosts will occasionally use not-so-classy language and immature humor to describe very mature situations. As such, listener discretion is advised. Hi, I'm Ken Sandberg.
And I'm Heather Michelle Lawler.
Welcome to Campfire Classics, where we try to read those books that look really good on your shelf.
It's December. Christmas time is here. One more sleep till Christmas.
Oh, we're just doing it.
Jingle bells, dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay. I want to be inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And then pagan ritual.
Great.
Cool. I feel good about that.
Cool. That was quite the mashup.
Yep, that's what I'm here for. Quite the mashups.
Hey, listeners, did we fail to catch, sorry, I was only barely participating. Did Heather fail to catch your favorite holiday tune in that mashup? Let us know. We'll try to rectify that next week.
And if I did, I made it up on the spot. So, yes, send in your favorite holiday song, and maybe I will include it in a upcoming episode.
Yeah, a completely nonsensical opening mashup.
That's what I'm best at. That's what I'm good at. That's what I'm here for. That's why they keep me around.
It's the silliness season.
It is the silliness season.
It's the silliness season.
And whoop-dee-doo and la-dee-da. And we got to open up our coffee advent calendar for today.
Oh, yeah, we
still
should
have
do that.
to do that. Who has an advent calendar?
I saw a post today on one of my social media groups. It's one of the sort of Dungeons and Dragons nerd culture centric groups.
Okay.
And they were like, so I have a D&D dice advent calendar.
Oh, the guy who does Roll for Sandwich has one of those.
Cool.
He opened it this morning.
But apparently some of them are a little odd because this person got a 17-sided die and it was asymmetrical.
Oh.
The sides were not all the same and the numbers were like 9, 18, 48, 49, 60.
So basically, it's just the numbers from Lost.
Oh, maybe that's what was going on.
Printed on a 17-sided dice.
Maybe it was a 17-sided die that was secretly a passcode to something.
Ooh.
But there were lots of comments about people were responding saying things like, yeah, I got an advent calendar that was supposed to be different, like role-playing game dice. Yeah. One of them was an 8-sided die. The numbers were 2, 2, 6, 7, a blank.
And now it is your turn to invent a game that this dice makes sense for.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're trying to inspire is creativity and new gameplay.
Yeah.
Speaking of D&D, we saw a really, really fun show last night in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was just last night. That was 20 Sided Tavern, which highly recommend. It was super fun. And I took Ken for his birthday, even though that was a couple months ago. It was the first time we've had a chance. And it just works out that one of his favorite podcasters was the guest.
Mr. Travis McElroy.
Yeah.
It was
who we know is listening right now.
It was his closing show. Hey, Travis, I hope you're listening. If you're not, that's okay. If anyone knows him, go ahead and send this episode his way. But
we should just tag Bim Bam.
We'll tag them in this episode because now we have an excuse to.
Ha ha! Finally.
But seriously, Mr. McElroy, Travis, excellent work. It was a fabulous show.
Really fun.
I hope you had as much fun being a part of that in the last week as clearly audiences were having with the show because it's absolutely
and
delightful.
The rest of the team on the stage, like it's the people that created this are Chicago based, and they workshopped it at Edinburgh Fringe, and now it's going international. So if you're in the area, and you like Dungeons and Dragons or just like ridiculous improv fun, highly recommend it.
Yeah. Check it out.
And if you go to the one in New York, go to the liquor store next door to buy your drinks for the show, not at the bar.
Because as it's
a
true
Schubert.
for all...
Well, I realize it's a Schubert theater.
Right,
which is why the fucking
Which is why
drinks
2 drinks are $60. Could literally get a bottle of Maker's Mark for cheaper
off
than...
Broadway. And why are the drinks that expensive? I'm just like, literally our 2 drinks cost almost as much as the tickets to the show. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So yes, go to the bar next door, take a little, because it's a role playing game. You might want to have a cocktail or a vape or whatever your thing is.
Yeah, I will say they're not checking bags.
No, they are not.
You could BYO pretty easily in that venue.
Yeah, and if you already own a Schubert cup, just bring that and pour whatever you buy into it. They'll never know.
Anyway, this is Campfire Classics. Welcome. This is not a theater appreciation podcast, nor is it a Schubert Society organization.
Schubert organization.
Nor is it a Schubert organization trashing podcast, although certainly we would be happy to do both of those things. To a certain extent.
And, lower your fucking drink prices.
But no, what we are is a comedy literature podcast. We cold read short stories that have been pulled from the obscurity of public domain and usually the obscurity of being really fucking old. And we attempt to present them to you with some degree of accuracy, but oftentimes we fuck up in the reading or decide something was really funny and laugh about the antiquated penis jokes.
Like last week's first paragraph.
Last week's episode was so ridiculous that apparently it very nearly caused a car accident. One regular listener, in fact, reported having to turn off the podcast because he was laughing so hard that he was worried he was going to crash the car.
I mean, if you haven't listened to last week's episode yet, finish this one and then go there immediately, because the first paragraph alone is probably the best opening paragraph we've ever had.
Yeah. It was good stuff. Anyway, I have selected a story this week for Heather to attempt to cold read. To the best of my knowledge, there is no French in it. But before we jump into the story, I'm going to share some fun facts to put us in the mood.
Fun facts.
This week, we're looking at a new Campfire Classics author, I'm like 80% sure.
Okay.
Frances Browne. Was born on January 16th, 1816.
Now, is this a Francis boy or a Francis girl?
This is a Frances girl.
Oh!
Frances Browne. She was an Irish poet and novelist, best known today for her collection of children's stories called Granny's Wonderful Chair.
Aww. All good grandmas have a favorite chair.
So, she was the 7th of 12 children.
That sounds Irish.
And she went blind before she turned 2 because of a smallpox outbreak.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
As she got older, she bribed her siblings to read out loud to her while she was doing chores and to speak their lessons aloud so that she could memorize the book and learn the lessons that they were studying.
I love her. Also, just read to your damn blind sibling kids.
Yeah, I mean, just
she had
cool.
to bribe them. She's like, I'll do your chores for a week if you just read me this story. Me.
I just want to read.
Aww.
Her first poem, written when she was 7, was her poetic take on the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. Irish girl grew up in the church.
Yeah, I mean, that makes everything about her is so far except the smallpox is very Irish.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like smallpox is un-Irish in the early 1800s.
Well, it was just pretty much all people in the early 1800s, yes.
Anyway, she started being published at about 25 years old. Reviews were mostly very good, although some critics noted that she seemed to spend a lot of time thinking and writing about how to convey visual images and thoughts when you can't see.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so this is interesting because she could see. Now, she was only 2. but that means somewhere in her psyche there is like the memory of that. I don't know. I don't know if doctors or brain surgeons want to. All my brain surgeon friends. Actually, I think Ashley's other maid of honor is like a brain surgeon. Oh no, she's like cardiac. Anyway, brain, heart, whatever. Scarecrow,
it's
Tin Man.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
I
want to be a bravery surgeon.
You want to be a bravery surgeon?
Yeah, a courage surgeon.
Oh, for the lion.
For the lion, yeah.
You know what? That'd be really cool if there was a surgery that could give you bravery.
Isn't a courage surgeon just a therapist?
Yes. Actually.
Really?
Social worker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they're doing the gods and goddesses work.
Anyway, yes. Yeah. So presumably she had some like deep-seated memories of at least like colors.
Yeah. Of color.
Anyway, she continued to be published. She gained popularity, became known as the Blind Poetess of Ulster.
Ooh, that's a fun title.
Yeah. And in 1844, the Prime Minister, of England, awarded her an annual pension of £20 a year. Now, she wasn't living off of that, but that does come to about $4,000 a year in American dollars.
And just for being her?
For her poetry was good. So he was like, great, the nation is giving you $4,000 a year. Keep doing your thing.
America's so broken.
So she moved from Donegal to Edinburgh with her sister, Rebecca, who served as her scribe, since the physical act of writing when you're blind, if you don't have like a typewriter or whatever, is actually exceptionally difficult.
Probably. And also she had probably never used a typewriter. So how would she have learned to type? And this was long. When did Braille come about?
Oh, I think Braille and typewriters and all of that are significantly later than when she was starting to write. Although I suppose
1821
is the first typewriter?
No, is the first Braille.
Is Braille.
So Braille was created by Louis Braille, which is why it's called that.
Okay.
Louis Braille developed it in the 1820s and 30s. He was a French student who lost his sight in a childhood accident, who actually created it.
Huh.
So maybe she was not aware of it. And at that time, I'm sure it was something that only wealthy people. And of course,
it
was invented in France.
She's in the UK.
Yeah.
And it is possible that she eventually started learning to breed rail. Ooh. I guess someone's having a good night. No, to read Braille. But
it wasn't common practice.
And writing in Braille would be no easier. And
it'd be much harder.
The first commercial typewriter was not available until 1874.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, so her sister is traveling with her. Her sister, Rebecca. They've moved to Scotland. Sister is doing the physical act of the writing. She continued to have success in Scotland. In 1852, her sister married. So Frances moved to London and picked up a new scribe named Emma Eliza Hickman, who, quote, served as her companion and scribe, but the word they actually use is amanuensis.
Oh, that's a new word for lesbian that I've never heard.
Amanuensis. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's much longer than scribe, but that's what it means.
And it's the newest word for lesbian.
Sure. So became her new companion and scribe for the rest of her life. In 1857, so shortly after, 5 years after moving to London, while she's working with Emma, she writes and publishes the collection that becomes known as Granny's Wonderful Chair.
Granny's Wonderful Chair.
By the 1860s, she is widely published and hugely popular, but is having trouble turning her literary success into financial success.
Girl, I get it.
Yeah. She is forced to declare bankruptcy in 1867.
What happened to her $4,000?
I mean, that's coming in, but that's not, And there were actually other organizations too, like the Royal I don't remember. There was another organization that was also helping her out with money.
I mean, she was basically on disability.
Yeah. But couldn't make ends meet, declare bankruptcy. She did continue to write. She kept right on working. In fact, she continued publishing right up until just before her death in 1879. That year, she published her last poem. So she kept writing right until the end. She left everything she had, which amounted to about 100 pounds.
To Emma?
To her companion, Emma.
Damn right.
A few years later, another writer named Frances, another woman writer named Frances Hodgson Burnett.
Oh, yeah.
Published a story which eagle-eyed readers immediately picked out as plagiarizing Miss Frances Browne. Burnett apologized, said that she had read the story which she had plagiarized as a child, but couldn't remember where she knew it from.
So she thought it was just in her brain?
And no, she knew it was one she read, and she was planning on publishing this story along with some others in a collection that she was calling something like, I didn't write this down, but something like the Lost Book of Fairies.
Okay, like Lost Fairy Tales.
And it was intended to be this sort of loving homage to the stories from her youth that she couldn't remember the origins of.
Okay.
But so she got called out for this one. She apologized and did all of the appropriate things and accreditations, which is why when Granny's Wonderful Chair was republished a few years later, Burnett was asked to write an introduction to the new edition.
Well, that was very quick thinking on your feet, Burnett, because it's like, but I didn't know that Wikipedia wasn't a real source. I didn't realize that copy and paste from artificial intelligence wasn't just writing my paper. I just loved it so much.
Yeah. Anyway, from one Frances to another, she showed respect, and so she got to, write the introduction.
One Frankie to one Frankie. Yeah.
Anyway, this week you will be reading a story from Granny's Wonderful Chair. This story is called The Christmas Cuckoo.
Oh, that seems fitting.
Let's start this fire.
Cuckoo. The Christmas Cuckoo by Frances Browne. Once upon a time, good.
That is such a simple, straightforward opening.
Yeah, once upon a time. It's really there.
It's a classic for a reason, y'all.
Is that our first Once Upon a Time?
I don't think so.
We've read some kids' stories. Probably not.
We've definitely had a couple of fables that began
there.
Once upon a time.
Okay.
Or Once in a Far-Off Kingdom.
Yeah.
Or It Was a Dark and Stormy Night.
Don't go into the room in the tower. Which
we published
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, it came up in our
4 years
memories
ago
yesterday.
This week. Yeah,
I think it was yesterday. So.
So if you're a Room in the Tower fan, happy anniversary.
Yeah, what's up?
The music you're hearing right now is the original music that was published with that episode.
That you happened to write. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's catchy as fuck. All right.
Super catchy. And the lyrics are incredibly inventive.
Very memorable.
Anyway, that's enough of that.
Once upon a time, there stood in the midst of a bleak moor in the North Country a certain village.
Okay.
All
I
right.
like it.
Dark. So we get the traditional, happy once upon a time, but then it's on a bleak moor.
It's moody. It's gloomy.
Yeah.
It's sort of a combination of It Was a Dark and Stormy Night and Once Upon a Time.
Yep. We get it.
Once upon a time.
It's a fairy tale, but there's something wrong immediately. It's like, all of its inhabitants were poor, for their fields were barren, and they had little trade. But the poorest of them all were two brothers called Scrub and Spare.
What the fuck kind of fucked up naming Scrub and Spare?
Don't name your kids Scrub and Spare if you want them to be rich.
That's messed up.
These poor boys. They're like, you never gave us a chance. It's like people that get named Gaylord, in this day and age. You're like, Why are you doing that to your child?
Well, at least that's a name, though.
It is a name, but like, not today. Like, it was a classic name back in the day, like when we're reading these stories from. But now you go, don't do that to a child. You're just asking them to be bullied and tortured all through their childhood and beyond.
It's more like, it's like Sergeant Major from Catch-22.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Major.
Yes, it's just like, don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, poor Scrub and Spare are the poorest in this little town. All right. Scrub and Spare, who followed the cobbler's craft. Okay, so they're shoemakers.
Cool.
Their hut was built of clay and wattles. When I first saw it, I thought it said waffles. Their hut was built of clay and waffles. Well, no wonder they're cold and barren and starving. Their house is made of bread.
Yeah, although, yum.
I mean, yes.
It's like the witch's house.
I guess at least they'd have food.
Yeah.
But that would go bad really fast.
Yeah, you are going to... Waffles...
They're good when they first make them. They don't last.
If it's perpetually fresh waffles, you're going to stay warm.
That is true. If you're like if you have a waffle maker that just keeps replacing the bricks of your house.
Yeah. I want a magical house made of warm waffles.
Well, I got you a waffle maker last Christmas. I'll see what I can do this Christmas. See if that's on Amazon for Cyber Monday. The door was low and always open, for there was no window. Oh, that's too bad. So it's very drafty as well, apparently. The roof did not entirely keep out the rain, and the only thing comfortable was a wide fireplace, for which the brothers could never find wood enough to make sufficient fire. There they worked in most brotherly friendship, though with little encouragement. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're nice, they love each other, they have a shitty house made of waffles, and they can't find firewood. What are wattles? Because it's not actually waffles, y'all. Their house is made of clay and wattles.
Clay and wattle is like an old school way of... It was a fairly common way of...
building things?
Building, yeah. It's here you go. It's this woven lattice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm showing pictures, which is not super helpful to you, listener.
Google it, damn it.
But you can look up wattle, clay and wattle, or the other style was wattle and daub.
Everything just sounds cuter back then. Like,
well, sounds
I have
cuter.
a wattle and daub house.
Sounds cuter until you remember that daub is largely made up of baked animal
shit.
Yeah. I was looking for a nicer way of saying that, but yes, it's poop.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
So it's wattle and manure.
Yep.
Cool. Great.
So they at least had clay.
Yeah, at least theirs didn't stink like poo.
Yeah.
That's, they don't have a door or a window, but their house doesn't smell like shit. So, yay. So you got to look for the little things in life. On one unlucky day, a new cobbler arrived in the village. There ain't room for 2 of us or 3 of us here, yo. On one unlucky day, a new cobbler arrived in the village. He had lived in the capital city of the kingdom and, by his own account, cobbled for the queen and the princesses. That bitch is lying.
I don't believe him.
I don't believe it at all. He's
what
like,
the fuck you doing in this backwater ass town?
He's like, I went to the Harvard School of Cobbling. What?
Can you major in cobbling at Harvard?
I'm sure you could at some time. I don't know. And how would the people in this tiny town know anyway? He can just make shit up. Like, he's like, yes, I did. I went to this school and I did this and I made shoes for the queen. His awls were sharp. His lasts were new. He set up his stall in a neat cottage with 2 windows. Oh, 2 windows?
Ooh.
That just seems excessive.
Fancy rich boy.
Fucking Harvard boy. The villagers soon found out that one patch of his would outwear 2 of the brothers. In short, all the mending left Scrub and Spare and went to the new cobbler. That sucks. Fucking corporations coming to town wiping out small business owners.
Yeah.
Fuck. The season had been wet and cold. Their barley did not ripen well, and the cabbages never half closed in the garden. So the brothers were poor that winter, and when Christmas came, they had nothing to feast on but a barley loaf and a piece of rusty bacon.
Rusty
bacon?
I didn't know bacon could rust.
That sounds like a stripper's name. Coming to the stage. I'm Rusty Bacon. You want a taste? I'm super salty. Wink, wink. The face cat is making right now.
Rusty bacon is the euphemism that never should have been.
Yes, absolutely. Yuck. Oh, but even worse than rusty bacon.
No such thing.
Worse than that, the snow was very deep and they could get no firewood. So not only did they only have a loaf of barley bread and rusty bacon, but they couldn't even warm up the rusty bacon because they had no fire.
But at least rusty bacon can keep them warm.
Come on in, boys, and snuggle up. Their hut stood at the end of the village. Beyond it spread the bleak moor, now all white and silent. But that moor had once been a forest. Great roots of old trees were still to be found in it, loosened from the soil and laid bare by the winds and rains. One of these, a rough, gnarled log, lay hard by their door, the half of it above the snow, and Spare said to his brother, "Shall we sit here cold on Christmas while the great root lies yonder? Let us chop it up for firewood. The work will make us warm." "No," said Scrub. "It is not right to chop wood on Christmas. Besides, that root is too hard to be broken with any hatchet."
Wait, there's wood right there, and you're like, nah, I'd rather be cold than work on Christmas?
Yeah, Scrub sounds like a moron.
Jesus.
Spare, you're gonna need to move on. You're gonna need to go get another job.
One of these brothers got all the brains.
Yep. And I think I already know.
So, Spare is the Tin Man, Scrub is the Scarecrow, and Rusty Bacon is the Cowardly Lion.
Just sitting in the hut, shaking. Hard or not, we must have a fire. I mean, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
Sometimes you're not hard and you still need to stay warm. And, you know, and it says the work will make us warm. You know, you cold in the morning, you want to get a little warmer, you know, you get Rusty Bacon.
Got to go out and get to rootin'.
Got to get that root out and chop some firewood. Hard or not, we must have a fire. Oh, I'm not using his voice. Hard or not, we must have a fire, replied Spare. Come, brother, help me in with it. Poor as we are, there is nobody in the village will have such a Yule log as ours.
Fuck yeah.
Let's get a Yule log going.
Get those crispy waffles.
Get that pagan shit going. Scrub liked a little grandeur, and in hopes of having a fine Yule log, both brothers strained and strove with all their might till, between pulling and pushing, the great old root was safe on the hearth and beginning to crackle and blaze with red embers.
Yay, it's warm.
Well, that's nice, unless it's a magical piece of wood.
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it's something. In high glee, the cobblers sat down to their bread and bacon. The door was shut.
Yeah, gonna eat bacon.
That's why they warmed up and got all hard, and now they're ready to go. Actually, they got all hard and then warmed up.
Warming up was getting hard.
The door was shut, for there was nothing but cold moonlight and snow outside. But the hut, strewn with fir boughs and ornamented with holly, looked cheerful as the ruddy blaze flared up and rejoiced their hearts.
Yay.
Then, oh shit, then suddenly out of the blazing root, they heard, cuckoo, cuckoo. I was sitting by a fire and I heard cuckoo, cuckoo. I would run so fucking fast. Like, if you hear an animal, like a normal, like a squirrel, or you hear like a, like something like that, okay. If I heard cuckoo, cuckoo, I'd be like, fuck off. Let the house burn.
Oh, like, how long did that bird just sit in there, like, chilling?
We don't even know if it's a bird yet. We just know it sounds like a cuckoo bird, which is not a common bird in England, by the way.
Oh, I don't know. It must be common enough. They have cuckoo bird clocks.
Yes, but that's because they're from, like, Switzerland and shit. I'm looking up where the cuckoo bird lives. No, not cuckold. Internet.
Different thing.
Look, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, by the way, spelled cuckoo.
It is spelled cuckoo, so maybe it's cuckoo, cuckoo.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Oh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, what? That's not what I thought they looked like.
Its scientific name is Cuckooidae.
Cuckooidae. Also, it looks like a, like, fucking Harry Potter bird. Look at it. It looks like one of those, like, it looks like the, what are those things called? They ride?
Oh, a hippogriff.
A hippogriff. That's what it looks like. I mean, clearly not as big, but, like...
That one does. This one doesn't.
Yeah, the rest of them don't. That one's just cool as fuck. Oh, they are European.
Ranging across all the world's continents except Antarctica.
We have cuckoo birds? Who knew? Well, fuck. You learn something new every day here on Campfire Classics. So, cuckoo bird. Okay, so we're sitting by the fire. Then suddenly out of the blazing root, they heard cuckoo, cuckoo. As plain as ever, the spring bird's voice came over the moor on a May morning. What is that? Said Scrub. Scrub is dark, yes.
No, Scrub was the high-voiced one.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, Scrub was the one who didn't want to do the work.
Yes, he was. Scrub's the idiot. Yes,
yeah.
Okay. That's why he's scared like a little bitch.
That's why Destiny's Child doesn't want no scrubs.
What is that? Said Scrub, terribly frightened.
Chicken shit.
It is something bad. Maybe not, said Spare.
Could be dinner.
Yeah, maybe they got a free turkey dinner here. And out of the deep hole in the side of the root. Oh no, we got another glory hole. That is a very common in the past couple.
Flaming glory hole. Stay the fuck away from that.
A flaming singing glory hole.
Nope. Nope.
A flaming singing glory hole. So out of the deep hole in the side of the root, which the fire had not reached, flew a large gray cuckoo and lit on the table before them. Much as the cobblers had been surprised, they were still more when it said, "Good gentlemen, what season is it?"
And then they knew they were hallucinating.
And then they knew that the root they were burning was fucking peyote.
Probably they had eaten some spoiled rusted bacon.
Or what's the line from the
they have
insane
eaten on
root?
the insane root.
Uh-oh, someone got Christmas high. Ding dong merrily on high is where they are right now.
Cuckoo merrily on high.
Cuckoo. I love that Spare just responds instead of like, the fuck? He's like, it's Christmas, said Spare. Then Merry Christmas to you, said the cuckoo. I went to sleep in the hollow of that old root one evening last summer and never woke till the heat of your fire made me think it was summer again. But now since you have burned my lodging, let me stay in your hut till the spring comes round. I only want a hole to sleep in, and when I go on my travels next summer, be assured I will bring you some present for your trouble. Okay, so they got a fucking talking bird that's gonna be their roommate and then bring them presents.
Yeah, he just wants to stick it in a warm hole.
He just wants to stick it in his warm, burning hole. Also, that bird slept for a fucking long time.
Well, they hibernate.
He said he went to, that was a long time ago. They don't hibernate that long.
I don't know. I don't even know if they hibernate.
That's true. We don't even know where the fuck they're from.
They certainly don't talk.
I guess we didn't get that far in the Wikipedia
I don't
article.
think they're like parrots. I'm pretty sure all they say is cuckoo.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. I think they're going cuckoo, cuckoo. And
anyway, he's like, let me stick it in your hole and I'll get you a present.
And I'll get you a present later. And Rusty Bacon's over there like, don't take my job! Stay and welcome, said Spare, while Scrub sat wondering if it were something bad or not. I'll make you a good warm hole in the thatch, said Spare.
Sure.
Sure he will. But you must be hungry after that long sleep. Here is a slice of barley bread. Come help us to keep Christmas. The cuckoo ate up the slice, drank water from a brown jug. That's not water if it's in a brown jug. That's some whiskey.
Little brown jug.
Little brown jug. And flew into a snug hole which Spare scooped, for it was in the thatch of the hut. I think Scrub's going to cook this bird tonight.
He's going to try to.
He's going to do something stupid.
Or he's going to try to scare it off.
Yeah. Scrub said he was afraid it wouldn't be lucky, but as it slept on and the days passed, he forgot his fears.
Okay, so no, he was just chicken shit.
He's just a little bitch. It's fine. He's cuckoo shit. We don't need to bash chickens, but we got a cuckoo in this.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
He might be. Uh-oh. That's a whole nother story. Rusty Bacon changed her name. She was like, they're over me. I am now Cuckoo Puffs. Cocoa Puffs. Yes, Cocoa Puffs. There it is. So the snow melted. The heavy rains came. The cold grew less. The days lengthened. And one sunny morning, the brothers were awakened by the cuckoo shouting its own cry to let them know the spring had come.
Wake up, bitch!
Now I am going on my travels, said the bird. Over the world to tell men of the spring. There is no country where tree buds or flowers bloom that I will not cry in before the year goes round. Give me another slice of barley bread to help me on my journey, and tell me what present I shall bring you at the 12 months' end.
So he's going around because men are idiots.
Stupid.
He's going to be like, yo, it's spring. Plant your shit. Oh, by the way, when I come back, I'm going to be Santa. What do you want?
Yeah. Also, why are you screaming it's spring for 12 months? Or I guess it's like May. So why are you screaming it's spring for the next 6 months? Because by the time you get to like the next country over, it's actually summer.
Yeah, but then...
Or is he just speaking his people are going to?
Then come fall, he'll be in the southern hemisphere, and it'll be spring again.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Good. All right, we've figured out the fairy tale.
We've found the logic in this.
We found logic in this
story.
talking bird story of holes and Rusty Bacon. Scrub would have been angry with his brother for cutting so large a slice, their store of barley being so low. But his mind was occupied with what present it would be most prudent to ask for. There are 2 trees hard by the well that lies at the world's end, said the cuckoo. One of them is called the golden tree, for its leaves are all of beaten gold. Every winter they fall into the well with a sound like scattered coin, and I know not what becomes of them. As for the other, it is always green like a laurel. Some call it the wise, and some the merry tree. So, a fucking fir tree? It's an evergreen. A Christmas tree.
Apparently, it's it's one of those trees that throws apples at you.
What?
Well, they say it's why. I'm making more Wizard of Oz parallels.
Oh, okay. That was last week, Ken.
No, we've been doing them all through this one, too.
That's true.
Wizard of Oz is an evergreen topic.
It is evergreen, just like Elphaba, or the Wicked Witch in this case.
Or the tree.
Or the tree. Some call it wise, and some the merry tree. Its leaves never fall, but they that get one of them keep a blithe heart in spite of all misfortunes, and can make themselves as merry in a hut as in a palace. Good Master Cuckoo, bring me a leaf off that tree, cried Spare. Now, brother, don't be a fool, said Scrub. Think of the leaves of beaten gold. Dear Master Cuckoo, bring me one of them. Before another word could be spoken, the cuckoo had flown out of the open door and was shouting its spring cry over moor and meadow. The brothers were poorer than ever that year. Get back here, Cuckoo! Nobody would send them a single shoe to mend, and Scrub and Spare would have left the village but for their barley field and their cabbage garden. And
the bird coming back with presents.
And if they left, it's like, I don't think this bird's like Santa, as you said. I don't think he knows where the fuck they're going.
They'd have to leave a forwarding address.
They would, and that bird almost got burned to death because it was so sleepy, so who knows where this bird's going to be. They sowed their barley, planted their cabbage, and now that their trade was gone, worked in the rich villagers' field to make out a scanty living. So the seasons came and passed. Spring, summer, harvest, and winter followed each other as they have done from the beginning. At the end of the latter, Scrub and Spare had grown so poor and ragged that their old neighbors forgot to invite them to wedding feasts or merrymakings.
Rude.
The fucking people in this town suck ass.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, new fancy guy from Harvard. We'll all go there. And they just let these guys these people have lived there I'm guessing their whole lives. They're like, fuck y'all.
BT dubs, we never confirmed that guy was who he said he was.
No, we did not. And also, these people suck. You're not even invited to the wedding anymore just because you're not the best shoemaker in town? What fucking dicks? So they were not invited to wedding feasts or merrymakings, and the brothers thought the cuckoo had forgotten them too. When at daybreak on the 1st of April... The fuck? Why'd he wait that long?
12 months.
Jesus! I thought he was going to come back for the winter.
No, he was gone for a full year.
No, because he had to go sleep in another log and make wishes for the next people. Yeah. It's the wish the flaming hole wish cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who comes around to visit you every April Fool's Day.
Hey, and is like,
don't like this game anymore.
I don't like it at all. When at daybreak on the 1st of April, they heard a hard beak knocking at their door and a voice crying, "Cuckoo! Cuckoo! Let me in with my presents!" I mean, if someone knocked on my door and yelled, "Cuckoo, cuckoo, let me in with my presents," I'd probably, get the taser out, but they are expecting him.
I don't know. That's kind of what we do every time the mail stops by.
That's true. They kind of go,
Someone
buzz,
fucking buzzes
buzz, I've got your package. That's true. So the cuckoo is just an Amazon delivery guy.
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they've definitely done that at 6 a.m. And I'm like, just leave it by the fucking door. Also, I gave you a code for the door. Why are you doing this to me? Bless the Amazon workers. They don't get paid enough for the work they do, by the way. Anyway, so cuckoo, let me in with my presents. Spare ran to open the door, and in came the cuckoo, carrying on one side of its bill a golden leaf larger than that of any tree in the North Country, and in the other side of its bill, one like that of the common laurel, only it had a fresher green.
So fresh and so green.
Here, it said, giving the gold to Scrub and the green to Spare. It is a long carriage from the world's end. Give me a slice of barley bread, for I must tell the North Country that the spring has come. Scrub did not grudge the thickness of that slice, though it was cut from their last loaf. So much gold had never been in the cobbler's hands before, and he could not help exulting over his brother. See the wisdom of my choice, he said, holding up the large leaf of gold. As for yours, as good might be plucked from any hedge. I wonder a sensible bird would carry the like so far. Good Master Cobbler, cried the cuckoo, finishing its slice. Your conclusions are more hasty than courteous. If your brother is disappointed this time, I go on the same journey every year, and for your hospitable entertainment will think it no trouble to bring each of you whichever leaf you desire. Darling cuckoo, cried Scrub, bring me a golden one. And Spare, looking up from the green leaf on which he gazed as though it were a crown jewel, said, Be sure to bring me one from the merry tree. And away flew the cuckoo. This is the feast for all fools. It ought to be your birthday, said Scrub. Did ever man fling away such an opportunity of getting rich? Much good your merry leaves will do in the midst of rags and poverty. But Spare laughed at him and answered with quaint old proverbs concerning the cares that come with gold, till Scrub, at length getting angry, vowed his brother was not fit to live with a respectable man, and taking his lass, his awes, and his golden leaf, he left the wattle hut and went to tell the villagers. Yeah, that's smart, dude. Walk into the village with all your asshole friends and be like,
around your gold
look,
leaf.
I got gold. That's going to go
bitches?
really well.
I got money.
Money. They were astonished at the folly of Spare and charmed with Scrub's good sense, particularly when he showed them the gold leaf and told that the cuckoo would bring him one every spring. The new cobbler immediately took him into partnership. The greatest people sent him their shoes to mend. Fairfeather, a beautiful village... Her name's Fairfeather?
Yeah, they got weird-ass names in this town.
What? Fairfeather, a beautiful village maiden, smiled graciously upon him, and in the course of that summer they were married. Because that's how it happens in fairy tales.
This is Hobbiton. That explains the names.
Yeah, they're all just hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spare and Fairfeather and Scrub, those are hobbit names.
Yeah, and they're little cobblers, and you know, they love cabbage. Yeah, that sounds right.
And barley.
And barley, and you know, rusty bacon. They were married with a grand wedding feast in which the whole village danced, except Spare, who was not invited. What a dick! Who doesn't invite their brother to their own wedding?
I'm gonna guess the brother's new wife is like, nah, he's dirty.
I also think I think Scrub is kind of a dick now.
Well, yeah.
He's like, I am rich. I have one piece of gold. Moron. Spare, who was not invited because the bride could not bear his low-mindedness, and his brother thought him a disgrace to the family.
Right,
so we were both right. All right. So they're a match made in heaven. Great. As for Scrub, he established himself with Fairfeather in a cottage close by that of the new cobbler, and quite as fine. There he mended shoes to everybody's satisfaction, had a scarlet coat and a fat goose for dinner on holidays. Fairfeather, too, had a crimson gown and fine blue ribbons, but neither she nor Scrub was content. For to buy this grandeur, the golden leaf had to be broken and parted with piece by piece. So the last morsel was gone before the cuckoo came back with another.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how that happens.
Yeah, dude, you gotta, keep track of your budget here. Spare lived... What he should do is plant some of the leaf and see if he can grow a golden... Be like... hey, cuckoo bird, I don't want a leaf this time. Can you bring me a golden nut? Yeah. Or some seeds or something.
I want some magic nut.
I want some golden nut, baby. What a good fairy tale.
The story of the Christmas nut.
God damn it. Spare lived on in the old hut and worked in the cabbage garden. Scrub had got the barley field because he was the elder. Every day his coat grew more ragged, and the hut more weather-beaten, but people remarked that he had never looked sad or sour. And the wonder was that from the time anyone began to keep his company, he or she grew kinder, happier, and content. Aww, now he's like a therapist.
He's a courage surgeon.
He's a courage surgeon. Aww. There it is. I love that. Every 1st of April, the cuckoo came tapping on their doors with the golden leaf for Scrub and the green for Spare. Fairfeather would have entertained it nobly with wheaten bread and honey, for she had some notion of persuading it to bring 2 golden leaves instead of 1. But the cuckoo flew away to eat barley bread with Spare, saying it was not fit company for fine people, and liked the old hut where it slept so snugly from Christmas till spring. Scrub spent the golden leaves and remained always discontented, and Spare kept the merry ones. This is a fucking commentary on America right now, man. Jesus Christ. Golden toilet? Toilet that is falling apart. Who's happy?
Capitalism versus environmentalism.
Absolutely, yeah. I do not know how many years passed in this manner when a certain great lord who owned that village came to the neighborhood. His castle stood on the moor. It was ancient and strong, with high towers and a deep moat. All the country, as far as one could see from the highest turret, belonged to its lord. But he had not been there for 20 years, and would not have come then, only he was melancholy. Is he going to go talk to the courage surgeon? Oh my, he really is. And there he lived in a very bad temper. The servants said nothing would please him, and the villagers put on their worst clothes lest he would raise their rents. Oh no. But one day in the harvest time, his lordship chanced to meet Spare gathering watercresses at a meadow stream, and fell into talk with the cobbler. How it was, nobody could tell. But from that hour, the great lord cast away his melancholy. He forgot all his woes, and went about with a noble train, hunting, fishing, and making merry in his hall, where all travelers were entertained, and all the poor were welcome.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen.
This strange story spread through the North Country, and great company came to the cobbler's hut. Rich men who had lost their money, poor men who had lost their friends, beauties who had grown old, wits who had gone out of fashion, all came to talk with Spare, and whatever their troubles had been, all went home merry. He's a social worker. This is amazing. I can't believe we predicted that shit. The rich gave him presents, the poor gave him thanks. Spare's coat ceased to be ragged. He had bacon, not rusty bacon, y'all.
Nope.
He had bacon.
Shiny bacon.
He had new, not disgusting bacon with his cabbage, and the villagers began to think there was some sense in him. But this time his fame had reached the capital city and even the court. There were a great many discontented people there.
Yep.
In the capital city?
Yep.
Gee, I wonder what... There were a great many discontented people there, and the king had lately fallen into ill humor because a neighboring princess, with 7 islands for her dowry, would not marry his eldest son. Shame. So a royal messenger was sent to Spare, with a velvet mantle, a diamond ring, and a command that he should repair to court immediately. "Tomorrow is the 1st of April," said Spare, "and I will go with you 2 hours after sunrise." The messenger lodged all night at the castle, and the cuckoo came at sunrise with the merry leaf. "Court is a fine place," it said when the cobbler told it he was going, "but I cannot come there. they would lay snares and catch me. So be careful of the leaves I have brought you, and give me a farewell slice of barley bread." Spare was sorry to part with the cuckoo, little as he had of its company, but he gave it a slice which would have broken Scrub's heart in former times. It was so thick and large.
Break more than his heart.
And having sewed up the leaves in the lining of his leather doublet, he set out with the messenger on his way to court. His coming caused great surprise.
Sometimes that happens.
Especially when it's, it's thick and hard and you're not ready for it. His coming caused great surprise there. Everybody wondered what the king could see in such a common-looking man. But scarcely had His Majesty conversed with him half an hour when the princess and her 7 islands were forgotten, and orders given that a feast for all comers should be spread into the banquet hall.
Good. Sometimes you get hungry after.
The princes of the blood, the great lords and ladies, the ministers of state, after that discourse was spare, and the more they talked, the lighter grew their hearts, so that such changes had never been seen at court. The lords forgot their spites, and the ladies their envies. The princes and ministers made friends amongst themselves, and the judges showed no favor. As for Spare, he had a chamber assigned to him at the palace, and a seat at the king's table. One sent him rich robes, and another costly jewels, but in the midst of all his grandeur, he still wore the leathern doublet, and continued to live at the king's court, happy and honored, and making all others merry and content. The end.
Whee!
Aww. So basically, be a good person and you'll make other people good is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Or be a rich fuck and you're never going to be happy.
Yeah. Finding a way to be happy is more important than finding a way to be rich.
Absolutely.
Or
because money can't buy happiness.
The real treasure was the love we had for ourselves all along.
Or money can't buy happiness, literally.
But it can buy a jet ski.
And it can buy you, apparently, a hot woman in the village. Fairfeather. But no one needs to buy Rusty Bacon because she just comes over whenever you want her.
She's there for the poor.
She's there for whoever needs her.
Thanks, Rusty Bacon.
Yeah, Rusty Bacon for the win. That was lovely. That was a very appropriate story for the beginning of December.
Beginning of the crawl to Christmas.
The crawl to the giving season,
yeah.
the season of holly, jolly, and merry. Yes. I liked it. Also, I would like this cuckoo to visit us.
Holly, Jolly, and Mary friends of Rusty Bacon?
I bet they are, especially Mary. Because I'd be merry after a visit with Rusty Bacon. Anyway, what was I going to say?
Did they do a group rate?
The trifecta. That's what it's titled. You can get it on the spa package in this little town. No, I want the cuckoo to come visit. The
dip trio.
Yes. No, I want this cuckoo to come visit me. And I don't want a golden leaf. I want the fucking green twig. Give me my green twig.
Yeah, we got bread upstairs.
I know. I got a lot. I'm an Irish woman, as was our writer. I always got bread, baby.
No, not for nothing, but I have been feeding birds bread since I was a wee little thing, and not a one of them has ever talked to me or offered to make me rich or happy.
I guess not. One of them came out of a flaming hole.
That's true. I've never fed a bird out of a flaming hole.
So, goals for Christmas, goals for the holiday season.
Find a flaming hole.
Find a big piece of wood, chop it down, and hope that a bird flies out of the flaming hole and grants us wishes. Yeah, I'm good. We got a fire pit in the back. We can test this theory.
We'll be spending the winter setting birds on fire.
Well, hopefully they escape before.
Well, hopefully they escape.
They can't grant us wishes if they're burned.
Right, but if they can't escape, they probably can't grant wishes.
That's true.
Like if it's
so
a
if
wish
they die in
bird,
the fire.
It's like the witch dunking. If they die in the fire, they weren't a wish-granting bird anyway.
Oh, no. Baby, do I need to explain how that worked? So that was kind of a double-edged sword there.
Uh-huh.
I guess you could call it. You'll never know if it's a wish-granting bird unless you allow it time to talk to you, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll test it out. Does anyone else gonna test this theory over the holidays?
How would you go about finding yourself a wish-granting bird? That's what I want to know. What's your system going to be? Answer that question by emailing us at 5050artsproduction@gmail.com or messaging Campfire Classics on any of the social media, and we'll read your answers and laugh at them. And if they're really fun or interesting, we'll share them with the public.
Mm-hmm. And have you ever eaten rusty bacon?
Yeah. What is rusty bacon?
I don't know.
In explicit detail.
Yeah, tell us what rusty bacon is. Or draw us a sketch of what that person would look like.
Anyway, do all of that. Also, put us in contact with Travis McElroy if you've got his contact info.
Yeah.
I want to say congrats. When you shoot that email our way, include this week's secret passcode, which is Flaming Hole.
Flaming Hole.
That's all I got for this week. You got anything?
That's all I got.
All right. Then until next week, this has been Campfire Classics, where we try to read those books that look really good on your shelf.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, do you have a wish-granting bird in you? Oh, please do go cuckoo. Oh, please do go cuckoo. Oh, Christmas tree, I'm gonna shake you till your bird flies out. Ah!
Is that why people put little candles on Christmas trees to try to set them on fire to scare out the wish-granting cuckoo?
Flaming Hole.